Jackson 67 here. So today we're on this 2005 Dodge Durango SLT with the 4.7. We're going to be replacing the fuel pump. In this video I'm going to do it a little bit different, kind of working backwards. I'm going to show you how I got to where I'm at, so you can avoid messing anything up. So the first thing we want to do is when you pull your vehicle in and it's running, leave it running, go to this secondary fuse box right here, open it up, and there's going to be this relay right here. It goes in this slot. So while the vehicle's running, you'll see it says fuel pump. Go ahead and pull that relay. So what that's going to do is shut power off to the fuel pump and let it go ahead and suck what's out of the lines and let it stay running. And it'll shut itself off once it runs out of fuel. So on mine, my fuel pump was getting weak, so I was still able to do that. You might not have that option because yours already went out, but that's how you'd get the fuel out of the lines and depressurize it. Second thing I did, came over, unhooked the negative battery terminal, because obviously we're working around fuel. We don't want any sparks. All right, so you see I've already got the fuel tank out, and that's why I said this video is gonna be a little different. So what I wanna come under here and show you, so you have two fuel tank straps. This one I have off. It hooks right here, but the first bolt's right there, and the second bolt is right here. There's just those two, and those are gonna be on the driver's side of the vehicle, and they are gonna be a 15 millimeter. So what I did, here's your bolt. What I did is just took the impact, kept running it in and out, basically to clean the threads off and to make sure I don't break a bolt off in that. So if you're backing out with the impact, it gets tight, just run it back in, run it back out, and clean those threads off. So now that that was loosed, those were taken off, I used a jack to help lower the fuel tank down. And once the fuel tank was down, I was able to come in from the back of the vehicle and take a 7 millimeter ratchet and take this hose clamp off. And then I was able to go around the axle there and use a flathead screwdriver and basically push this up off of the fuel tank. Now, I had the fuel tank let down a little bit, so there'd be some pressure off of this. And I was able to pry it up and do that. Now, there's another line that hooks right here, this vent line. I'll show you it on the tank here in a minute, but you can just squeeze it and pull, and that'll let that come free. Now, here's where the trickier part went. This is your fuel line, which sits directly on top of the tank. And it is a bitch to get to. So what I did was let it down low enough that I could see what I was doing, but it's super simple to take off. All you got to do is come to the top here and press in on it right here, this little button, and it'll pop and you can get it off. Now, be careful on lowering it. You'll see I loosened my line up as all the way down through there, because with it held solid, it was pinching off on me. So it was pinching off right here, and that could lead to it breaking and fuel coming out of it. So be very careful on it. But I could reach around the top of the tank, get my finger on it, push it, and pop it out. So then, if you move to the front of the tank, you'll see there's this evap hose. I was able to just pull it off, and then you've got the connector for the evap canister. It does have a red lock on it, so with this plugged in, you can push from the top, push that red lock down, and then you can go ahead and squeeze the connector and pull it out. Now that's going to be the same thing for the fuel pump. I've got it tucked up here out of the way. Fuel pump is the same thing. It has a red lock on it that'll pop up, and then you're able to press that connector down and release that off the fuel pump. Now again, I done all this while I was on the jack stand and reaching over it. I did have to lift the car up just a little bit to get my fat self under it, but it is what it is. And let me show you out here what we're dealing with. All right, so here's the fuel tank out. So there's that clamp. That's for the fuel filler neck. Here is that vent hose where I said you can just squeeze the sides and pull it straight out. Over here, this is where the fuel pump went. You press that button, pull it out. Here's the wiring harness connection. Again, push the red tab, pull down, push down on the button, pull it out. Then you go up front here. There's the connection going into the hose that's on the top. So it's just, you squeeze it, you can pull it out. There's just the push-on hose that I showed you. And then there's the connection that we was looking at under there. So that is all the hoses you have to unhook to get this tank out of there. Now the next thing I did is I went ahead, vacuumed all the debris off of it. And then I bought this tool off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below because I knew this was going to be crusty. So I went ahead, other than taking the punch and beating this thing out around like I usually do, I got this nifty looking tool. It takes a 1/2 inch. I'm actually just going to throw the impact on it and let it eat. And I've got new rings and everything for it. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. All right, guys. The impact basically was just beating the ears off of it. But I was able to get the breaker bar on it, or the larger wrench, and it popped it right off. So if you're going to do this job, and this tool's a lifesaver. I can tell you right now, it saved a lot of time. But yeah, that jewel's out now. So I'll be careful. As you can see, she's pretty deteriorated, which is one of the reasons our engine light was on for evap leak, because the fuel pump has sides has basically left the jack. So go ahead and get this out there, get that cleaned up, and we'll go get the new one. All right, guys, so I've been cleaning up here. See, that can fit in there nice to have my hand of towels to block that off from dropping anything in it. But got that clean. Here's my new lock ring. There's the part number on it. Now you see, it comes with a black gasket to seal it, but this fuel pump came with a green one. So the green one is going to be for like ethanol-based fuels. So I'm going to use it. It's just a better seal. Here's the fuel pump I got. Amazon special. So, see if I can find. There's the part number on it. I'll drop all the links down below. And everything looked good. It was nice and held in there in good shape. Everything secured down. The only thing that scared me is they spelled fuel wrong. So, but I'll let you know how it goes. Fuel's right on this side, fuel's wrong on that side. But hey, if it's a good pump, it's a good pump. So, I cut him out of there. Next thing we're gonna do, get that off the float, and then we're gonna gently put this down in there. Now, one thing I should note, when taking out the other one, I actually had to take a screwdriver and pry in the plastic just a little to get it to come out. So I'd say it's probably gonna be the same case on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that guy cut off there and get her down in there. All right, so there she is installed. Guys, I can't stress enough about how of a game changer that tool is. Went right in, pressed right down the end, lined up, put that tool on it, cranked it. Perfect. So I definitely recommend getting one of those. So now what I'm gonna do is probably just wipe some stuff down and then get it in preparation of sliding it back up under there. So the next thing that I will do, clean up a little and check everything underneath, lines and everything again, and get this baby on there. All right, guys, I'm gonna walk you through how I got this in here. So I used my jack again and put a long board between the two straps and jacked the whole tank up in the air. So with the whole tank up, I got it as close as I can to where I could put these straps over. And I used actually another jack that I got holding the vehicle right now just up so I can show you this, to push the bands up to place, and I threaded the bolts in. So I threaded all those bolts up in, and then I snugged them. I went ahead and tightened them down to 23 foot-pounds. So I put 23 foot-pounds on them. So with the tank in its resting place where it's going to stay, I came up front first, and I put this hose back on. So that hose came from the vehicle right here into that vacuum canister. I put this plug back on to the vacuum canister. And I went ahead and got this guy right over here. So you see the blue clip, that's another return line. I went ahead and got it snapped in. Now here is where it's tricky. This is also how you're gonna get the tank off. So, see if I can balance this light up here for you. All right, so now to get to the fuel line, you'll see this is your rear shackle right here, or your rear trailing arm mount. See that gap between the frame? Right here where I got my hand? So body mount, gap in the frame, you gotta lay up under it and reach your hand back in there. They did not leave enough wire or room to be able to drop this tank without tearing up the hose. So remember that fuel hose I showed you where you push the button? I said it was easy. This is why. Because you've got to go back in here, push the hose, that's where you can push the hose on, and then go right beside of it. And that's where you can put your wiring harness. So, see if I can get you back in there a little bit. So you see right there's the fuel pump. You see the line going into it there. And then you see that the fuel pump harness clip, the red end with the safety lock. And make sure you push those back in. But yeah, it's all by feel. Now you could, caveat is to this, you could also, while you're putting this up in, you can hook the fuel pump wiring harness up. There is enough slack you can work out right there to be able to put it in, but that's it. You're not going to be able to do the fuel pump line. You're going to have to go in up top here and unhook it. It's shitty that it is that way, but if not, you're seeing the potential of snapping that plastic line if you don't do it. So that is the mid connection. Now on the back, so up under the rear here, you can reach your hand over this axle and you'll see the vent line, that clip back there on the left, that one. And then you can see the fuel filler neck is pushed down on and just has a clamp that you can tighten back down. Now, once I got the tank up in there, as I was putting it up in, I kind of make sure that this was aligned and it kind of slid itself back up in there. But that is everything together under it. And now I'm gonna go ahead, go up front, go put the fuel pump fuse in, hook a battery up, and then cycle this thing a few times with the key to kick the fuel pump on. And I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have any leaks. So I'm gonna probably cycle that key approximately 12 to 15 times and then check under and make sure I don't have any leaks from where, like I said, that hose is easily messed with. All right, guys, got it running here. Felt for leaks, don't see any. Of course, by this time it running, it'd be pouring out. So that means that hose is good. Everything's on there locked on good. So that's gonna be everything for this video. As you can see, it is a tough one, not gonna lie. This one took me probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So yeah, it's just hard reaching that line, and it's what you gotta do is to not tear it up. But if you guys have any comments or questions, just drop them down below. I'll try to get to them as fast as I can. And if you would, hit that subscribe button and help me build this channel. And also go to Instagram, check me out, Mustang Jackson 67. But until next time, let's keep building.